Welcome.
What is up, Jeff? How you doing today?
Doing good.
Are you?
Trying to get my second wind here.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you find it. I think we need it, man. I know me too, man. The last few days have been rough on me. I have been dealing with something. I don't know the specific thing, but my body and my mind are telling me that I'm dealing with something.
I don't know. Shifting a new year. Who knows?
Right? Like
no
the new moon,
explanation,
maybe?
yeah.
Maybe the new moon. Maybe it's, I don't know. I'm not really educated in that stuff. I'm trying to be.
I have no idea with it,
Like-
Same like we were talking about just before we hit record. Like waking up multiple times before the alarm yesterday, today, and it's just eventually like, I'm going to lay here, screw it, I'm just going to get up.
Yeah.
You know?
Just like it's almost like you're stopping yourself from resting because you're so worried about something
Mm-hmm.
and you don't even know what you're worried about.
But the funny thing is, like, yesterday, I told you I was in the garage by like 3:25.
Yeah.
Got my workout done, which
Yeah.
was not a fun one to do at that time.
Yeah, no doubt.
Effie Shane for that one. At least today's, I was like, today should have been yesterday's and flip-flop, but, that's
Yeah,
how
sure.
it goes. But I got done, and then I've been doing my meditation, so I just put my crash pads out because
Yeah.
I'm not laying on my floor because garage
Sure.
floor is like freezing cold.
Right.
Not quite what I want to do right after. I don't want to numb my body up right after working
Yeah.
out. Then I do my meditation, and then I'll either go like walk outside for a little bit or I'll read, and then I could go right back to sleep, which makes no sense. But I think it's just like my mind and my body are like agitated, and I just need to.
Yeah.
Get it.
I think your circadian rhythm is such now that if you weren't to get up, you would panic when you woke up.
Except for like on the weekends, like I'll sleep till 8, 9.
Yeah.
But I wake up my normal early ass time. I just refuse to get up because it's the only 2 days like I don't have to get up. Anything we do have is later in the day, like my daughter's schedule. So it's like I can literally get right up. I usually do say hi to them,
Yeah.
chug a little bit of my protein shake, and I just go work out real quick, and then
Yeah.
we'll have breakfast after. And I'm fine with that because I need the sleep because, well, you can't make up sleep, but, you're getting 3, 4, 5 hours a night.
Yeah.
So take advantage of when you can.
Yeah, totally, man. So if you haven't guessed and you didn't read the title, today we're going to talk about anxiety. All right.
Insert whatever, like
the
the rainbow
cat-
sound.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
shing.
Ding. Yeah. So we want to talk about panic attacks and anxiety and sort of go over some of the things that we feel causes us, maybe triggers us, as the kids say these days, or,
Trigger.
right. Or something that you know of that maybe it's long-term that you deal with, maybe it's short-term, but anything that may force you to go to that fight or flight mode in such a manner and at such a length that you panic so much that maybe your breathing is erratic, maybe your heart rate increases, all these things. And we want to talk about this today. And before we really get started into the weeds, as far as I know, Jeff is not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. We are not professionals in this. We are two normal guys that deal with it on a daily basis, and we don't know why, and we want to talk about it. And maybe you guys have some ideas, and you can share with us in the comments.
Yeah.
If you've got some great remedy, so whatever, you know how to get a hold of us. All right,
Waiting
guys.
on my honorary doctorates from SIU or Lindenwood. If
Oh,
you're
nice.
listening,
Right.
you guys want to give me those? I'll take them.
Yeah, they do to anybody else. I mean, as long as you're important, right?
I think I'd have to give them a big donation check for a new building. For
I think
that to
so, too.
happen. I think that's
I think-
kind of how that works.
Yeah, I think so too. So we're not we're not going to do that, and we may not cure anything. We may not fix anything, but maybe this is the beginning for somebody. Maybe it's the beginning for Jeff and I on methods to deal with this. So, first thing that I would like to say is, Jeff, have you ever had a panic attack?
I can probably say no, honestly.
Okay.
Never had a panic attack.
Mhm.
I've probably been on the verge, not of a panic attack, but like mental breakdown just when you're physically worn. Like
Mhm.
I talked about how many weeks ago when it was just like
So
how many weeks
exhausted.
off. Exhausted, but just mentally drained that, like, my water bottle turned wrong and you just snap.
Right. So I think that comes with a lack of quality sleep, a quantity
Yeah.
quality sleep.
Panic attack of when like you just shut down and can't function or can't
No,
breathe.
I mean-
Nah,
I
I'm
mean-
not.
I mean panic attack, and I've had them, so I'll share I'll share the symptoms that I get. The symptoms, and I'll go into the causes and what I think the root problems are later. But the symptoms that I get is a tightening of the chest, very typical for people.
Yeah, normal.
Feels like an elephant sitting on your chest and you can't breathe. Heart rate increases. I sweat a lot. my fight or flight system goes haywire.
Oh, yeah.
I feel I have to, if I'm laying in bed, which is usually where it hits me when I'm laying down. If I'm vertical, it's the weirdest thing. However, we'll get to that because there's some instances where if I'm in the car, it hits me too. So these things happen and the breath starts to shorten and your focus starts to only be on the breath. Well, the breath is shortened, heart rate increases, you start to panic. And it's this cycle that it's not a deadly cycle. You're not going to die. You're not going to die.
Pass out first.
At the very most extreme, you might pass out, but most people don't. You just panic. So that panic attack is one instance. It's one thing. It's a happening.
Yeah.
I stubbed my toe in the door, whatever. I hit my head. I had a panic attack. The panic attack is not anxiety. Anxiety is the fear and the worrying that encompasses everything or envelops everything, thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have another panic attack. And so I had something, but now every waking moment is, God, I never want to have that happen again.
When you dwell on it and it brings it back.
Oh, it gets worse and worse.
And more people, as it's been stated throughout, all of psychologists and psychiatrists and mental health that's been addressed especially this past year, more people are having anxiety attacks or, all this anxiety just from all the COVID shit.
Well, we're living in a brave new world. It's different. Just like Aldous Huxley wrote about years ago, in his book. If you haven't read it, Brave New World. It's this dystopian future telling, and when you read it now, it's almost like he's around right now.
Yeah,
and it's spooky how like foreshadowing it is. But so I digress a bit. So if you've had a panic attack, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't had a panic attack, but you've had this feeling that I'm talking about, you've had a panic attack, right? So anxiety, what is anxiety? All right. So you haven't had a panic attack, but you more than likely have anxiety. Well, I know you do, like we talked about earlier.
Yep.
You worry, incessant worrying, right? Obsessing. What is it like for you when you feel anxiety? And maybe not in the moment telling yourself, oh, I'm anxious.
Yeah.
But afterwards looking back and going, oh, geez, man, what the hell was going on there? Why was I out of control, quote unquote?
Yeah. I think the biggest, when it hits me with anxiety is I see everything as a whole. Oh my God, I got to get this done. I got to do this, and this versus breaking it all apart. Like I had a little bit moment of it yesterday, coming back from the holiday weekend, tons of emails. It was payroll day. Wasn't the first of the month, but it's the next closest. So I had to do all the bills and stuff for the facility, all that kind of stuff and everything. And everything I was like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. My mindset goes straight to, I need to get this all done today, when in reality, most of that stuff does not have to be done today. It can be done today. Like yesterday, we'll say it's, yesterday, it could have been done today or tomorrow. It can be pushed, but that's how my brain works is I see it, oh, I got to try and finish it. I got to go to get it accomplished when I need to step back and go. And once I got through everything, I kind of was like, I get any notes or, went through all the mail and all the stuff I had to do, got payroll done, did some of this other stuff. And I sat back and I read these emails and all the stuff I got to get done. I'm like, okay, what's okay, got that done. Cool. Check that box. I can push that tomorrow. So I put that in my calendar to remind myself, okay, do that today.
Yeah.
Okay, that's done. Okay, okay, that can be pushed back. That doesn't need to be worried about until Friday.
Yeah.
It's breaking it down, and that's
so sort of compartmentalizing the day.
Yeah, and that's what I need to do and that's what I do is I'll sit there and I literally see, oh my God, I got to get this all done, but does it really all have to be done in this moment?
Right.
Type thing.
Right.
And that's when it usually gives me those little bursts of anxiety is you got to get all this done. I try to put myself to a standard that if I have X, Y, and Z and, I'm going to be at work till X time or I'm getting at this time, I plan to have X, Y, and Z accomplished by this.
Yeah.
To start then, 1, 2, and 3 and A, B, and C.
Right.
I try to put my days like that because I'm very well organized, but that's what I try to do to keep myself on track.
It's good.
I just got to get past the first initial part of like, whoa.
That initial onslaught, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like when you open the door and everything comes in.
Yeah, and that's like a lot of stuff like my last job. The weekend I wouldn't touch emails, and then you like got to do all the stuff, get numbers updated, this, and this, do all this daily stuff. And all of a sudden it's like,
Yeah.
okay, it just became a routine because it's like, it just has to be done before X amount of time. Okay, get up, do it.
Right.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
how I kind of feel with my anxiety of stress, is that it doesn't turn into I can't breathe, tightness, none of that. I can function.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. More so it'll get me agitated to be a little bit more
On edge.
on edge.
Yeah, yeah. Well, mine, I wish I'm glad to hear that because I can't say the same for myself. I've got, it's damn near crippling when it comes on. And it's embarrassing for me to say that because we've talked a lot about one of the solutions, or at least one of the tools for this, and I still struggle.
Mhm.
So I'll just lay it out there. So I have always had problems with my sinuses.
Yeah.
And not like clogged up, not draining,
Uncommon.
just underdeveloped on one side, overdeveloped on the other side. So much so that whenever I was in Ramstein Air Base in Germany, I had to have a surgery on my sinuses back in the 90s. And what they did was they went in and they tried to even everything out. You know, sort of rotor-rooter, cut up a bunch of cartilage from busted up nose and all that. So the deviated septum got fixed. And man, 3 days with packing like up in my nose.
Oh, yeah.
After that, I was breathing. I was high. I was getting more oxygen than ever. It was fantastic. And that lasted until about a year ago. And they told me, they said, you'll probably get about 10 years out of this. Well, during said surgery, I woke up in the middle of it with an Army major with a hand on my mouth and a pair of pliers up in my nose, ripping shit out. So it was a little traumatic. Okay, cool. I survived. Afterwards, I could breathe better than I had in my entire life.
Yeah.
So even with the trauma, it was worth it. Well, I made it more than 20 years, right? So I feel pretty lucky. But when I can't breathe, and I mean, of course I can breathe. I can still breathe completely fine out of one nostril of my mouth.
Yeah.
But I obsess. And I obsess to the point where I get anxiety and I end up, until I have a panic attack. So if I don't use like an Afrin or something like that to where I can fully breathe, man, I'm not sleeping that night.
Yeah.
I'm outside on the back porch because that cold air at least keeps things open.
Yeah.
You know?
Or something like a smelling salt or something like
some eucalyptus. There's something, right? Which I
Mhm.
found something recently. It's like a way you like sniff eucalyptus and
We got it's eucalyptus and like sea salt, like oils that we'll put in our diffusers.
Yeah.
And I'll do that like before workouts sometimes. I got smelling salts. I got ammonia stuff from lifting still, or I'll do Tiger Balm.
Yeah.
I'll put that right on my nose.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
I love to smell it. But that's stuff like I drench myself in when I fall too.
Right.
You
Totally.
try to mask those pains, but kind of like an ongoing joke in jiu-jitsu is like guys would panic. You know, you're putting them in holds and like, I can't breathe. And we'd always be like, you're talking. So long as you can talk, you can breathe. You know, like.
I thought about that. That's
and
true.
I joke that with my daughter. I can't breathe. Yes, you can. You're talking. It's just your initial mind is panicking you.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind is going, oh my God, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And then you're like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. You can shut your mind up.
Yeah.
And relax. And that's kind of like what Wim talks about. The author of the book Breathe, he fully talks about when you get into panic attacks, it's completely easy to get out of it. It's you have to just train your body on how do you properly breathe. Easier said than done. I can't say that because I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
So
suffer
that's
from
the
that.
thing.
But
So
that was the same thing when I did jiu-jitsu and I got some big ass dude on me trying to choke me out or whatever. It's just like, it's like, take those quick breaths. Okay, breathe. You're good. Just get your position. See what but that's trying to be calm in the situation.
and that's another thing that does it for me is being restricted.
No, that goes into being like claustrophobia. When
That's
you
me.
can't move.
Yeah. So I have horrible claustrophobia. And I think I know what's at the root of that. It's some childhood stuff, but trying to deal with that now is, it's difficult. I'm not quite sure how to deal with that part. So for now, what I want to deal with is the breathing.
Mhm.
Can I breathe out of my entire system? And if not, how do I get that fixed? So I'm looking at less invasive procedures.
Called the not rhinoplasty, but the balloon.
Turbinoplasty
The
or
balloon up there and whoosh.
yeah, that's what they're going to do.
That's one client had it done. I'll need it done from getting my nose broken and orbital bones and
Exactly.
stuff like that shattered and broken over the years. Yeah.
So okay, so I'll just talk about last night. So last night as well as the nights before, I'm feeling pretty good. About 7 o'clock, I can feel the side just start to close up. And it's very odd, man. It comes on in the evening,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes on slowly, and then all of a sudden, it's just like a full blockage. And now that's all I can think about. I'm just obsessing about it.
It's always one side too.
Right. I'm just obsessing about it. And then all of a sudden, I'm sweating, and I'm panicking, and I'm shaking, and I feel like I'm going to come undone. Well, today, okay, so last night, I took the Afrin. I got some sleep. I woke up this morning, felt pretty good. Told my son I'd take him out to get him some lunch, so I took him up the road, got a bite to eat, brought it home. Well, on our way there, I start to feel the side blocking up again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, come on, man. This usually just happens at night. Like, please, not all day. And we go to pull into the drive-thru of this restaurant. And luckily, I was the last car. Because soon as I got into the drive-thru, here's my train of thought. This is today, dude. This is how crazy this is. I start to panic because my nose is closing up. How am I going to get out of this drive-thru if there's an emergency?
Mm-hmm.
There's no emergency, you dumbass. You're fine, but not in my mind.
Well,
Dude, I backed up. I drove down the block to Walgreens, bought a bottle of Afrin, never did use it, went back to the drive-thru, and everything was fine. And I told my son, I apologized. I said, listen, I'm a little out of my mind right now. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to go home and try to relax a bit. But just know this ain't you. This ain't just,
I think
that's
that's
a thing.
A lot of people, it's the comfort of having this here.
Right. I
Kind of
don't
like
know.
the Boy Scout, always be prepared. Just
Right.
having it is the comfort.
Yes. But that's a control issue too. It really is. Like you're
is,
having
but
to
it's
control every facet of what if. Now that's what I used to deal with.
And that's it. But that's what most people, again, we're not medical professionals, but I think for most people that have high levels of anxiety or panic attacks, it's knowing that I have my pills or this clutch or whatever it is that can calm you.
Instead of calming yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Versus looking to the alternative. The true inhibitor is your own mind.
Yep.
You have to fix what's wrong up there. What rewired connection do we got to unplug and replug and, crisscross,
Right.
That's all it is. And that's what I think his name is James something that wrote the book Breathe really talks about. And that's another thing is he talks about that the past 500 years that the human palate has shrunk. When
yes.
you look
I've
over,
read that.
when you look over like Neanderthals, you go back to the Egyptians, you go back to just, older found skulls. Their palates were huge. They didn't have to get teeth pulled. Their wisdom teeth came in.
Yeah.
There's a reason those wisdom teeth are there, but you're like, I've had how many pulled?
Right.
But like when I work out, I'll make it a full purpose, like really breathe, even when it's hurting. I try to. And then as soon as I get done working out, I put water in my mouth, close it, and until my heart rate gets calm, I will just breathe through my nose. And it sucks because you feel like you're not getting oxygen. But that's exactly what he talks about. And, others is it will allow you to do. But breathing through your mouth, people who always breathe through their mouth, it shrinks your palate.
Yeah. Not only that, but I believe that our diets played a role in that too, that we didn't need such a carnivorous type of mouth.
And you got all those wisdom teeth for really mashing down harder nuts and things.
Right, and vegetation.
Yeah, we kind of got obviously we've evolved in our way of producing and gathering.
Yeah. So, our mouths are getting smaller, the palate's falling. Like those things do not help.
Even the whole sinus cavity thing's changed.
Right.
Look at skulls. It's like, if we could see ours, I got X-rays of mine.
Yeah, me too.
Plenty. Yeah, you say you have too. Yeah, many people probably do if you've got any, sinus issues. But hey, you look at different skulls over the past 100+ years. It's they don't even look the same. It's like a little bit smaller up in here. The cavities have all shrunk, and it's just like, But yet those problems have become immensely worse for us.
Yeah, of course. My problem was I would get like blockages here or here, but not here and here. And so everything was really lopsided.
Mine always flip-flop. But most of mine's always on the left because that's where most of the damage was done.
Right. Mine's the right side. So, yeah, man. So anyway, I survived, obviously. I made it through. I was pretty happy with myself. I was a little disappointed that first go at it, that it hit me that hard. I haven't experienced it where it stopped me from performing a task. Now I've got to really deal with it because it can't get in the way of me performing tasks. So, how do we prevent it? Not how do we, first of all, let's not say how should we prevent it. how can we deal with it in the moment? And
The first thing I would say is, again, I can only speak upon because I don't have the
yes,
extent of what you do or others
right.
do, is you have to understand how to breathe.
Yeah. Yep.
That is the biggest thing. I think it would be a very good thing for everyone to learn jujitsu, just as a good physical thing, good for self-defense. But like, you get put in that mode to be panicked. Like,
Right.
and when I first started, a bunch of us that trained, after you get kind of comfortable, you're like, I wonder how long I can sit in a choke before I'll go blacked out.
Right.
Or I can sit in a, any type of choke, triangle, whatever it may be. And a lot of us would do that until we passed out because you want to see how far you can go, especially a lot of us who fought.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, well, I'm in there. They won't have a gi. We'll be sweaty. We just get like, how far can I really go before, the lights go dark?
Yeah.
And it's, and they say if you do it, put the move in right, it takes 7 seconds and you're out. But,
Yeah.
you got counters, but it's one of those things like, how far can you go?
Yeah.
The biggest thing that allows you to go further and not pass out is how you remain calm.
Yeah. So tell us
And,
about that,
and
because this
obviously
is
you
something
you
that I
gotta
think I
have-
can use.
You got to have obviously some counters in there. You can't just let someone put a choke in and think, oh, I'm relaxed. You will go to sleep.
Right.
I don't care who you are.
Right.
But no, like you just like, if you got like, someone's putting a rear naked choke on, you got your chin tucked and you got a hand in there so that they're not be able to get under your chin to hit your carotids. It's just remaining calm,
Yeah.
hoping that they'll move just right, or you break their grip, or you just got enough to keep you going.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of guys wear mouthpieces too. Another thing
Yeah.
that's like,
Ugh.
to
I know.
breathe. But it's just all about understanding that you just have to breathe and remain calm.
So okay.
Yes, you're trying to the choke. Yeah, okay, this is pretty serious, but keep breathing.
What are some of the techniques that you use if you're in that sort of fight or flight mode? Because I know you said something earlier about quick, like choppy breaths.
Yeah, so like a lot of things when I would lift and like doing CrossFit, or when I fought, you'd be catching your breath. It'd be real quick. Try to do it through the nose. I do it in my mouth so you guys can hear it, but
Right.
just real.
And does it come out the nose or does it come out the mouth?
So depending, if you're a mouthpiece, you try and keep your mouth closed to breathe out. But, normally I would just breathe it out my mouth like with lifting, but you just go, you get some quick back in to kind of calm it, and that's what
Gotcha.
I try to do when I do any of these CrossFit workouts or have worked out is, I did a bunch of rounds on the heavy bag the other day and just got my heart rate through the roof. And it was just like between each round resting, I'd either like sit in, like seiza, which is kneeling position, like for Japanese, or I would sit and just calm. Instead of walking around, I would literally just sit there, like on my knees, hands on my knees, and focus on trying to calm. And I can't see my watch. It's all covered. But trying to focus on bringing my heart rate down. I got 60 seconds to bring my heart rate down until I move on to the next bag or the next drill, whatever I was doing. And it's going to drop it a little, but it's not going to bring you back to resting. But that's the whole thing is, if you can really harness and focus your breathing, taking good, solid, deep breaths, trying to hold it in for even a second. I know that's hard when your heart rate's at 180 beats per minute type thing, but
no, you're right though.
But it's that quick.
There's something about that. Let me jump in. There's something about that I realized the other night was that if I took a breath in through my nose and I held it just for a couple of seconds, that holding it sort of made me panic a bit. But the long, slow exhale is what just brought everything down.
It relaxes you. Yes.
Right.
And that's, again, I speak about Wim, hopefully one day to meet him and do his stuff, but that's what his breathing techniques is it's 30 to 40 in, out, breath hold, and just holding.
Right.
And it puts you in that uncomfortable space of, oh my God, I'm holding my breath. Oh my God. Well, eventually you'll get to a time where your body will start to panic. I've told you, my body will convulse.
That's when you start to build up CO2, right?
Yeah, my gut will start to be like, start spasming because it wants air. You just have to get it into your head.
Yeah.
We're good. And at worst, if you do panic, you're going to go,
right.
But then after you've done your breath hold, you do exhale, and it's a deep breath hold for 15 seconds. And it's like this big deep breath, and it all just disperses through your body. And you're kind of like, oh, I feel kind of, it kind of just relaxes you. But everything, like he says, also breathe, a lot of like the Stoic stuff, a lot of the samurai teachings, it's always in the breath. Like I said,
Yeah.
every decision can be made in 7 breaths.
Yeah.
Everything is controlled. You have a bit of anger, take 7 deep breaths.
Yeah.
You're panicking. Okay. And that's everyone's panic. When you panic,
Yeah.
you try
totally.
to I got to get more air. I got to get more air.
Yeah.
You're actually shortening how much comes in. You're putting more CO2 in versus
Right.
O2, which you
Right.
got to have the balance.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Everyone says you can't have CO2 in your body. Look it up. You got to have some of it.
Absolutely. And and I may have it backwards. I guess it's when you are holding your breath, your depletion of CO2 is what causes the panic and the convulsions. I think
your oxygen, you can, take that big breath and you hold I could sit here and talk
right.
without, breathing. You'll eventually start hearing funny, but you just start, eventually your oxygen's dispersed. But that's the whole thing is they talk when you do these things is, calm your mind from your toes to your fingertips, from your heart to neck to your head. Like feel your heartbeat slow. And I
like
feel
that,
it,
dude.
man.
You guys, listen up. This is that toes to the head thing.
Yeah. Like
Please.
if you lay down and, I like to lay down when I do my breathing because then I can really focus on pushing the belly, breathing through the full diaphragm versus a lot of
Yeah.
people when they sit will still.
Chest breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that's just horrible because you're already teaching your diaphragm, which is a muscle, to be shortened. Then when you are in strenuous or panic modes, you're not able to get full breaths.
Yeah.
Look at a lot of people who do yoga, deep sea divers, people who can do a lot of holding their breath. They can push that belly out.
Well, and I also found that once I learned how to use my diaphragm, I could go out on a run or some sort of a cardiovascular event without training for it nearly as much.
Yeah.
Nearly. It was just the breath work.
Wim even has that in his app to be able to do push-ups, do his breathing. So do just push-ups regular. I'll tell everyone, just give this a try. Do a set of push-ups. If you got to do them on your knees or modify them, do a set of push-ups. Go for it. Wait a little bit. Take 30 to 40 deep breaths. Breathe into the nose, out through the mouth, or into the nose or mouth. I would say probably in through the nose, out through the mouth, personal preference. Do 30 to 40 of those. On that last one, hold, do your push-ups. I guarantee you will do more than you did the first time. Your body is more alkalined. You're at more balance, but you've dispersed oxygen. You've relaxed yourself. You will do more push-ups than you did the first time. I even do these in the damn workouts when we have push-ups.
Yeah.
Or like today we had calorie rows, burpees, and kettlebell swings for a little 16-minute AMRAP. And I got to the burpees, and I was doing the same thing. I got off the rower, and I tried to hold my breath through at least 6 burpees. There was only 12 of them, but it maintains my breath because I automatically know the row's not really going to put my heart rate up there. I can get my heart rate down. I'm going to go then flipping burpees. That's up, down.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Can't help it.
It's going to mess with your blood pressure. Yeah, you're going to flip and go. It's full body movement. So trying to, and maybe little burst of air out when I come to the top as I, get extension.
Sure.
But everyone's got these little things, and it's, I think, years of doing martial arts, but years of sports. Like my track coach in college was very good at, we had to do a lot of short time stuff and the biggest thing is like, oh my God, you're dead. Stand up tall, breathe.
Yeah. Open everything up.
Stop using your chest. Breathe your gut. Like we would do those types of things, and that's huge in martial arts that my coaches preach when we do end of things, where we teach proper breathing. Like you guys got to really. There's so much research out there, but the power of your breath is insane to what it can do. You really want to get into crazy stuff. Look up what Wim's done. Willingly been volunteered to get diseases put into him, and by the power of breath, not have any reaction. And other people he's taught have the same thing.
Yeah,
I can't remember what they put in them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's calming. It's why in yoga it's done. It's why at a lot of end of sporting event stuff. Hey, sit. Hey, good. Sit. Or after like unfortunate an accident, they get you out. You're good. Sit. Good. Just sit here. Just sit and relax. Just relax. Breathe.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yep.
You're okay.
Yeah, dude.
Same thing. You're getting them to be calm and breathe. And as you breathe, you will naturally relax yourself. Your body becomes more alkaline. You just become more at peace.
Yeah.
And that's just the biggest thing is, how can I control that? And it's no different than fitness. You want to go out and run a marathon, you probably have to train for it. Few can just walk out and do it.
Yeah.
It's a tool. You got to work at it. You can't just go, I'm there. I'm pretty good. No.
Yeah.
It's a day in a day thing out. And like I do Wim's app every day. I log it in that app. Been, usually after my workouts, like I say, or I'll do it in the evening. I tried it driving the one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't recommend doing that.
Right.
I know how far I can hold and
Yeah.
be conscious, but don't do it, please. He
No,
also says don't
right.
do it.
No.
You're not supposed to do it in water. I
Right.
did it yesterday, taking an ice bath. I sat in there and did my own breathing, just sat in silence and
Yeah.
stuff like that, just to focus and get my heart rate down. That way, because I'm in
Freezing
cold water, and I
yeah.
put a bunch of the whiskey ice balls in there.
Nice.
They
Nice.
take forever to melt, and so that's what I do. I put a bunch of those in there, and then when they melt, I'll get out.
Huh. No kidding.
It takes anywhere 20, 25 minutes, maybe
That's pretty
30. I
neat.
think I was in there almost 30 minutes.
That's
yesterday.
a lot of ice balls.
So yeah, I probably it's funny. Our fridge makes them, but yeah, I probably put in, I don't know, maybe 10 pounds of them.
Yeah.
I just dumped the whole
Nice.
tray in
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
stuff.
That's awesome, man. I'm going to tie some stuff in there with you because the breathing is obviously critical, and especially a guy like me that is having so much anxiety about breathing.
Yeah.
I think I should probably look into meditation with my right side of my nose plugged just
There-
to work on it.
There
you know?
are meditate or style things like in martial arts. I've told you have the left and a right.
Yeah.
Well, most of the world's right hand dominant.
Right.
So you're going to go, well, why do you always do it that way?
Right.
You have 4 limbs, use them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's what it should be. And then
Yeah.
just get a little sidetracked, but yeah, there are training where you would be,
yeah. Right.
Left's going to be pretty. I'm pretty much always. I have the same. I get
Yeah.
deviate septum. This is all mangled, but yeah, left is pretty much always difficult to get into.
Gotcha.
But
Okay. So, all right. So, one thing, the one thing that I've found that helped me, which I completely forgot about the toes to head thing
Mhm.
and all the chakras and all that, which I need to do. But for me, it was thinking about the first positive thing that came into my field of vision or into my mind. It could have been my wife laying next to me.
Yeah.
It could have been one of my dogs laying on their bed next to me. It could have been my kids. It could have been my house I'm in.
Mhm.
It could have been, you know what, dude, I'm going to be 100% transparent. This morning when it started to hit me, I thought of 2 things. I'm in the car with my son doing something he likes, and I love my son, and I'm having a really good time with him. And the other thing I thought was, I'm going to get home, and I get to see Jeff, and we get to talk about this very thing,
Yeah.
which I love. And while it didn't prevent it, during that time of me thinking of those things, I was not thinking of the panic.
Mhm.
I didn't have a panic attack.
No.
I just had a little anxiety.
Yeah.
I was close.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
And
so
it's a good tool.
yeah,
is-
I think so. I mean,
Things that are familiar that calm you.
yeah.
And someone I know, he suffers, and I know both, men and women. He suffers some stuff, and I try to tell him the once I'm like, hey, when you feel this coming on, I can't. I go, I've never had this. I don't have this, and I can only give you what I've learned from people who have or who are professionals in this. And I told him, like, you really got to focus on just trying to breathe,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
or something that will calm you.
Mhm.
That's not a vice.
So if you practice breathing, a la any breath work or
Mhm.
even meditation, that would lend itself to that.
Yeah, like even
Right?
in Sam Harris's app, most of his stuff is, if you do a short one, it's like, let's breathe.
Yep. Yeah.
Really just focus on the breathing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
most, like, I would find something like that or an app or just YouTube, like nature sounds or running water, and just sit there, eyes closed. You can have your eyes open if you want to have like a visual field and focus on something, but I would suggest eyes closed. It's going to be easier for you to focus until you get more in tune with it. Just literally feel entire breath come in, hold it.
Yep.
And as you get better, you can really draw it in for as long as you can. Maybe do a count, hold, count, exhale. We always used to think of like martial arts. We do it either sitting or laying, and think of deep breath, water's rushing in, it's bringing all this positive energy, and then the water is leaving. It's taking everything that you don't need, every negative thought, any injury, any pain. It's taking all that away. And a lot of meditational things will teach that as it flows. Like It just goes and goes. And they teach a lot of people that with like pain, you get an injury, like just sit there and breathe and like just think of water and like it flushing the pain away.
Yeah, man.
Which Wim has proven with his breathing that getting things done to him, he can breathe. Last time I heard him on a podcast, it was either with Aubrey, Marcus, or Jay Shoddy.
Yeah.
And he talked about, is at some conference, some dude goes, hold a horse stance. Okay. A horse stance, for you don't know, is a wide base stance, like squats from martial arts, and you literally try to get down to 90 degrees, but you're wide. And just hold that. And he got down in it, and he's like, oh, give me a beer. And I think he chugged a beer down, and he held it for like an hour or 2 hours talking with no prep, no breathing. But this is crazy things he can get into because he's very sound in his breathing, and he knows what he can do. He's run a marathon barefoot in shorts. It's either, where the Arctic Circle, north, south, whatever, above the Arctic Circle.
Right.
Forgive my geography. He's done some incredible things. Gone to the top of Mount Everest in shorts,
right,
with his sack, no oxygen. That's usually only Sherpas, and Sherpas are still decked out in gear. He can do, but it's proven with him, and Wim's in his 60s, late 60s, I believe. And there are other people can do that. A lot of Shaolin monks can do these things with their teachings that they'll be on their heads for hours, and they got kids doing this.
Yeah.
Or crazy positions. It's teaching them that breathing through it, you can. Like, if you can focus that and relax it, you can forgo what the body will do. Well, because the mind is a limitation. The body will go way longer.
Sure.
And I've learned that through hellish martial arts testing, that your body will give out, but if you can keep your head in the game, you can outdo when your body wants to fail, because your mind will then tell it otherwise and send those signals that, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's nice. I know the breathing. Ooh, the breathing. It especially, like I said earlier, whenever you're having difficulty breathing out of one side and you obsess about that, it makes this difficult. But the hitting the different points, going through your body, the breathing in and letting it out like water. Mm-hmm. Those things are all wonderful pointers. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like kind of going back to when we first talked about yesterday, it was a long, stressful day for me. And I told my wife they were running some errands, and I was like, yeah, she goes, what are you going to do when you get home? And I'm like, well, I needed a shower. I didn't do it. Sometimes I'll literally just kind of cool myself down, put deodorant on, and
take off.
Put
on a little barrel brand.
Yeah, I literally do. It's like, put some net on, put some of the balm on the armpit too. It's like, okay,
that's the best.
I smell good. Okay, I'm good. I'm good to go. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna go home. She goes, oh, well, you gonna do like an Epsom salt bath or something? I'm like, no, I'm gonna do an ice bath. So I was debating if I wanted to like do a cold walk, because I hadn't done a real long cold training yesterday, and I was like, you know what? Now took a shower, then literally hopped out, and went from one to the other as the tub was filling up, and then dumped all the ice in when I get in, because I'm trying not to let it melt. I want it to be in with me, and so then hopefully I'm the one warming the water enough that it'll eventually ice will melt no matter what. But I use that as putting my body into stress. But it was that. Then I sat there, and I lay myself all the way down to where just my head's exposed, like my heart's under, and that will really cool you down. I'll tell you guys, that'll be brutal if you really go for it.
Yeah.
And my hands were just above, and I kept my hands kind of not in real, like you say, praying.
Right.
And that normally, if I was doing ice and I could sit in something, I would sit with like my hands on my knees, kind of traditional meditational style. But I just sat like that, eyes closed, and just focused on breathing the entire time. And then, I set a timer just to make sure I don't fall asleep. I've done that before.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Thankfully, in my tub,
freaking hypothermia.
I would go down and my head wouldn't go under because my body would stop me.
Yeah.
But I set a timer, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to go a little longer. There's still ice. And then the last 5 minutes, what I usually do is I will submerge my head. So then I'm going to go completely underwater, really focus my breathing, and then just go under and hold my breath in the ice water. And initially, the shock of that, when you jump in, your body wants to go,
right.
But I'm already accustomed. Anyway, if it wasn't, you can still do it. But
totally, yeah.
There's another panicking-induced moment that I'm putting myself in is I'm going in. Water's probably upper 40s, I'd probably say, by the time I got it cold with all the ice. you go in under that, and it shocks, especially if you got hair. When I had hair, it helps a little bit, but it sucks really bad.
Oh,
to
when you
have
get
hair
out. Oh, dude.
because all that is soaked.
Yep.
And it just sits there, and that's gonna,
It'll
it's gonna take a
freeze.
while for your hair to, to dry. You got a mop on your head.
Yeah.
Like for me, but it's instantaneous when there's no hair in your head, and
Right.
it hits, and it's like thousands of needles. I swear that hurts worse getting your head submerged in frozen water than anything else.
Sure. I bet.
But going under, I'll hold my breath, and I come up. I'll do probably another 20, 30 breaths, and then I go under again, come back up, and I just sat there beforehand and relaxed myself, but I induced the stress to myself that hopefully allows me to better deal with stress. Again, I'm still working
Dude,
on it. I still
it's
have my
wonderful.
moments, but
Yeah.
it's kind of all these things. If you can induce yourself into stressful situations, that's what workout is. You're
Right.
putting yourself in a fight mode.
Oh, yeah.
You're just not fighting against anybody.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself in that. Every time you work out, you're in fight mode.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself in a stressful situation because things are going up and down in your bodies. Woo. Your adrenaline will peak with things, especially I remember the old days of CrossFit. It's like countdown 3, 2, 1. Or
Yeah,
fighting,
Yeah.
fighting. Everyone's like, you like panic when you walked out? No, like I don't even hear my music playing.
Yeah, totally.
I don't hear the crowd.
Just in the zone.
I don't hear a damn thing.
Yep.
And my coaches will be like, same thing you see on TV is the same thing that happens in any fight. Get the Vaseline, good, hug your coaches. Referee checks you good, and you get in there, and it's calm. And it's literally like, you good? You good? Yep. Ding.
Yeah.
And it's like, as soon as that bell, it's like light switch, adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
I think that comes from years of being an athlete younger, which I can't say, but if you guys can put yourself like in an ice bath, and that's what a lot of WIM stuff is and this cold stuff, put yourself in, take a cold shower, induce that. Oh my God, calm yourself. It's cold water. If you really wanted to get out of it, you can just turn it or you could step right out.
Yeah, and let me inject this. A lot of you guys don't have a trough or a tub or whatever that you can do this, or that quantity of ice or the water. Take a cold shower.
Yeah.
It really will, at least in the beginning, do the same things for you. And I know when I first started with the cold water and with the breath work, I hit 2 minutes a lot quicker than I probably should have.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a trick that I learned, and probably something that I should have really thought about in the past in athletics, was when you take in that big belly breath first,
Mm-hmm.
you still have 2 sacs up here that can hold air.
Oh, yeah. You can hold a ton of air.
So you don't just take a breath.
I don't remember the volume our lungs can hold.
What I did was I taught myself to take the big belly breath, and I'd fill it up to where I thought it was a pop. And then I'd take another giant gulp to get my lungs aired up.
Mm-hmm.
And between that and the ability to meditate just a little bit, man, it was like, okay, well, I'm not really worried about this now.
Mhm.
I'm not obsessing about it. I'm just breathing. And
And it's a simple thing. And a lot of people, if you want to get into cold showers, take your normal temperature
Mhm.
and then last 15, 20 seconds, kick it to cold.
yeah.
Then, boom, turn it off. You're done.
Yeah, I started to do, when I first started, I'll share this with you guys, I would rinse in cold water.
Yeah.
I'd take a normal, moderately warm shower.
Be forewarned, it's going to be a little hard to get soap off.
Yeah, no
It's
doubt.
not meant to be cold.
No doubt.
So
So,
it freezes on you.
yeah, man. But that's what I did. And, that really helped me. So now this has opened my eyes a lot. It's always nice on your own podcast when you can have something actually come out of it that helps you.
And I can't even remember how I found any of this stuff. Like meditating, that's been done for martial arts. I don't remember how I came across WIM, probably on listening to someone's podcast,
Yeah.
who knows how I really heard about them.
Yep.
But it's these things that people do that has worked for them. That's all anything in life is. You're stealing somebody else's thing and tweaking it to be your own.
Yeah.
And I like doing WIM's breathing with meditation. I use the breathing as a meditational thing, whereas most people use it as just a breathing technique, or doing it while I stretch, or
Right.
trying to incorporate those breathing techniques when I'm working out, or when I'm sitting in an ice bath,
Yeah.
or when I go out and do my cold walks or something. Like putting yourself in those semi-stressful situations, which you can instantly control and turn off and on,
Right.
will allow you to better handle when you can't control those things.
Yeah. That's a wonderful way to, I think, when okay, I'm not having a panic attack. I'm not in a situation right now where I'm going to get anxiety. Let me go put myself in that position.
Yeah.
Let me go toil with it. Let me go toil with this, because everybody, we've talked about this before. The only way through an ambush is straight fucking through it.
Well, it's no different
Right?
than
It's
when you
no
were
different.
trained.
Yeah.
Before you even saw overseas, what did you go through over and over and over and over again?
Basic combat training. Yep.
It was to create muscle memory, to allow you to hear these sounds, put you in predetermined stressful situations so that when you do see this action, you're trained to do what you're supposed to be there for, hopefully.
Right.
There's still instances, I'm sure, of people going, oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, if you can't operate under stress, you're not serviceable, and you
Yeah.
can't deploy. You
And
can't.
that's hard for a lot of people. I'll have my moments where it's like, and it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's an ongoing thing. And I'm not saying I'm some guru. I don't even use that word. I'm not saying I'm anywhere got this nailed down for myself.
Yeah.
It is still an ongoing process that those other demons will creep them way up. No different than you could be sound with your breathing. You might still have a panic attack come and get you.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you guys can do a lot of these things differently from what these guys have taught and others, I guarantee you, again, I'm no medical, no background. I guarantee you, if you could really harness your brain power, you could get off a lot of the meds that are used to control anxiety and those types of things and panic attacks. You could literally get off of it. You would slowly be able to tell your doctor to wean you down to eventually nothing because you've done that. It's no different than someone with asthma. A lot of people are able to kick it. I remember when I was a kid, I had it. Doctor's like, go have him swim as much as he can.
Yeah.
You can't breathe all the time in water. Lungs got to get stronger.
That's
And
amazing.
you might outgrow it. I did.
Yeah.
It might come back. A lot of adults get exercise-induced asthma, but that's the thing is sometimes you can't control. But if you can really harness your breath, you can prevent the tightening of the lungs and the throat so that you don't have to sit there and pop an inhaler, which you could. Again, that's
Right. Yeah.
but the power of the breath is so powerful, the things that it can do. Look into a lot of movies of action or things going on. You see this stuff going on, and a lot of people, like, you know, they can get through a lot of these situations. You'll see them before they go out, like,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
They get their breath, they take that, and then they go out and fight the battle or, you know,
Right. They're
whatever.
not standing there like all like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
No, they're
You see
working.
all that, and
Right,
that's
yeah.
it's no different.
Yeah, totally, man.
It's put in movies, whether fictional or, you know, remake or whatever, something. But yeah, it's incredible what you can do with it if you can harness it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about, you know, for us, what is it like to have anxiety? You know, it's that constant worry, it's the obsession, right? The panic attack, you know, that fight or flight moment. Are you going to be reaching for a pill or cannabis or something like that? Or are you going to be working on your breath?
Mhm.
And I know for myself, I had a bad habit of grabbing cannabis. Well, that was until cannabis started making it worse. And I'm here to tell you guys, I've been a long advocate for cannabis, but in some of us, it will cause you to freak the fuck out. And it's, you know, I'm learning that less is more, you know, so if you're going to do it, be careful. All right. And again, we're not doctors. I'm just an avid cannabis user. And,
No, it's just
you know,
all the stuff that we've talked about, you guys can find on the same podcast, same books,
Yep.
same research.
yeah,
Like, I look at this stuff a lot. Like, when I got time, I love to see crazy things Wim's doing and things, because he's, you know, you guys might get sick of it, but he's enlightened a lot of people in the medical world who want to study him because he's doing things that are going against what science is taught.
Yeah.
And that happens. And that's, he's
Yeah.
showing that we have the power internally to be able to heal ourselves in certain instances. No different than we talked about before. And many people have talked about this, that you're you now, but you're also made up of 11 plus generations prior that happened. So if you had someone that, you know, served some crazy shit in the Civil War, some of those pre-existing conditions are still in you that cause many panics,
that's right.
which could have been heightened even after you returned from your stint overseas.
Yeah.
All these things, you know, a lot of people think, well, what happened in your childhood? Nothing may have happened in your childhood. You could have had the perfect childhood, could have had everything you ever wanted, wealthy parents or this and that. No tragedy ever happened to you. All this stuff is genetically ingrained in you. It's just, what did you get that becomes more apparent than you, than your sibling or your parent?
Yeah.
You know, as crazy as it sounds, this research is all out there. It's
Yeah, it is.
But it's very fascinating to understand that the human body can do so much more. You know, we don't fully use our lungs. You don't need need 2 kidneys. It's better to have 2. You
Right.
don't even need 2 lungs. You can function with 1.
Yeah.
Not well, but
Yeah.
you know, we're
Don't
not,
use
we
all
don't-
your- all
we
your
don't
brain.
even- yeah, exactly. We don't even use the full capacity of what our bodies are capable of. But just think, if you can harness a little bit more of those things, what more can you be capable of? Because there's no pill that is going to make you fully more capable.
Yeah.
It's not limitless.
That's a good
where
point.
It unlocks your brain and you're
You
now
know,
just
we're all scrambling with technology. In the 90s and the 2000s were the technology boom,
mm-hmm.
and we all benefit from it. I mean, this studio right here benefits from the technology.
Oh yeah.
100%, you know, and we're very thankful for it. But what if you just worked on utilizing 10% more of your bodily function every year?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you would stop relying on external things, pills, cannabis, alcohol,
Which is
whatever it might
changing
be.
your mindset alone a lot. You know, if alone is the biggest thing, you first got to have that. Nothing's going to come from it if you don't put your foot down. This is prime time, guys, because you are all listening to this. It's in the new year.
Right.
This will be week 2 of the new year. The full
Week 3 when they get it.
Okay, 3.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm trying to remember our math when we got stuff coming. But this is a time when so many people are joining the gym, trying the new fitness things. I'm going to do this fad. I'm going to do this diet. They're trying all these things. This is a time when you kind of have this mindset to do it, because a lot of the energy of the world is in tune right now to try to better themselves, as January, February, these first 6-8 weeks of the year are.
Yeah, lots of good energy out there.
So if you can continue to take that and not hop off of your journey, this is the time to do it.
Totally, yeah.
You know,
I agree.
You know, and that's why I do those same things every day. I shared it yesterday. I try to work out 60 plus minutes a day, 20 plus minutes of breathing meditation. Try and read 20 pages a day in a book.
Yeah.
Try to do 30 plus minutes of cold training, whether outside, ice bath. I don't do ice bath every day. It'd just be a little costly in water.
Right, yeah.
And stuff. But it's winter. It's pretty simple for me to open the door and walk my ass out.
Yeah, so when you take your walks, what kind of, you're just wearing shorts and a T-shirt and some tennis shoes?
Yep. And if it's really, really cold, I'll put gloves on, just because in all reality.
Extremities. Yeah.
Even like when I'm going to Everett, it's not worth the pain. Like,
right.
I got out of the tub yesterday and my flipping toes hurt so bad. My fingers were fine.
Yeah.
And even at the end when I went under the water, my arms were completely submerged, but my toes were just destroyed. Probably took a good 2 hours before my toes didn't feel like someone was like cutting them from the inside.
Yeah.
But
it's worth it.
But it is. But the thing is, you got to remember when you get out of those ice baths, the biggest thing is don't sit there and try and rub your body. Naturally let your body warm itself up. You can put, sweats on, sweatshirt. Just keep moving. Walk around. The natural blood flow will warm you. That's what I kept doing. I get out and I put shorts and a T-shirt on. I just put socks on because my feet were like numb. But the thing is, I just sat there and kept rubbing my one foot over each other.
Right.
Just kept moving my feet. Literally just like if I was doing this with my
friction,
hands.
yeah.
That's all I did, sitting. Then I'd get up and walk.
Yeah. Do you wear a top cover? Do you wear any kind of hat or anything?
No.
Just let all that out. Because, that keeps heat in.
Yeah.
So.
It would have to be, I did it last year when we had like a negative 18 or 20 or some wind chill.
Mm-hmm.
I went out and walked. I put my ski gloves on, and then I put a thin beanie on, just because I will start to move. Even in that cold temperature, I will start to sweat.
Yeah.
And so,
sure.
But even you'll see those guys that do the cold training, you got to protect your extremities as much as I would like to go out. I'm not trying to break Wim's records of being barefoot and gloveless, but I have done that times when it's been cold. I'll go just walk the yard barefoot in the morning.
Yeah.
And
it feels good, doesn't it?
Feels good. But like the other day, the ground was just flipping
frozen.
It's frozen.
I know. I walked in it that morning.
But I can do that and I can stand it for a while. You're fine. You're not going to cause any permanent damage because you're not going to be out there. You're not out there for hours and hours and hours.
Right. And
if I felt anywhere near it, all I got to do, there's my door.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's just shorts. Got my shoes on. I don't put headphones in. I don't listen to anything. I just go and I walk.
Yeah.
I just focus on breathing, walking around the neighborhood, whatever. I don't listen to anything. Just focusing on it. Even if there was a run in the workout, I would go run in shorts and that's it.
Yeah.
I won't listen to anything.
Yeah.
I like being able to focus on that because I can focus on the breathing. And the big focus is your mind's like, oh, it's cold, it's cold, it's cold. You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
And your body will do what it's designed to do to protect you anyway.
Right.
And it's not like I'm stranded out in the mountains somewhere where there is no shelter. I have no clothes. if I'm in my neighborhood, I'm literally walking laps around the block.
Yeah.
I could cut through the yards to get
Sure.
to my home if I
Yeah.
had to.
Right.
But yeah, I would say that one thing is just walk around your house. I'll even sit outside and do 30 minutes of meditation, sitting. That
Yeah.
can get brutal too, but
Well, that brings me to another point here that I forgot to touch on. For those of you like me that are dealing with anxiety and maybe panic attacks, whether it's chronic all the time or whether it's just every once in a while, something that I need to pick back up is, since it's gotten cold, I've slacked off, because I was relying on skateboarding with my son for being exercise, and it kicked my ass. But now that we haven't been able to do that, I'm getting a little soft. I believe that if we were to, and I mean all of us, if we, myself included, were to exhaust ourselves a little bit more each day physically, when it came to those moments of anxiety or panic, I think they might be a little less. That's just a thought. That's just something that I gained.
Well, you can try it. And when you go out in the cold, do your best to breathe through your nose, because your body is naturally designed to warm the air before it gets to your lungs. I believe there's like 600 cc's or so of dead space. I can't remember.
Right.
Maybe less. I'm trying to remember what one of my old nurse clients said, of dead space before the air hits your lungs. Going through your mouth, it doesn't get warmed. It's going to burn.
Yeah.
Focus, again, keep your mouth closed, and just, you might have snot dripping out. You got beards and mustaches like that. Yeah, it's going to be soaked by the time you get inside, because it's just going to be nothing but heat.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, just condensation.
But yeah, if you guys want to put yourself in a little panic mode, it'll be cold tomorrow. Go outside, put a little less layers on than you would. Don't put a big old coat. Just go outside and sit for like 5 minutes, and maybe just a long sleeve tee and like some thinner sweats, or shorts and a long tee. Just go out and sit for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And just see if you can, because you're going to be like, oh, this is cold. But if you can just sit and relax, it's not bad.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm going to start tomorrow.
Well,
I really do.
New Year's Day, I cooked on our flat top, made breakfast. I was out there in shorts, and I had a T-shirt on for a little bit when I was cooking the bacon, trying to get the grease splatter. Burns a little.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I didn't have my shirt on for probably 30 plus minutes.
Yeah. Hell with it. I'll start tonight, dude. I'm going to start walking tonight.
It's, and if your neighbors are up, they might look at you. None of my neighbors are up when I'm doing it. And I do it at night before too, but most of my neighbors, that's just Jeff. He just works out.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So, so we can add exercise to the list, or cold walks.
Yeah.
Right. Ice baths.
Cold showers, ice baths, yeah.
Meditation, right? Like I said, walking. Those are just a few things. Focusing on all the positive things around you when that moment induces, to shift the fight or flight. Don't enable it. Don't empower the fight or flight, because when you focus on it, when I obsess about it, I'm empowering my own fight or flight system. So I'm telling myself it's okay to feel like this.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to keep feeling like that. It's a never-ending loop. And for those of you that suffer from this stuff, you know what I mean. It's debilitating.
Oh, it is. But another thing, too, if you guys want to do something outside in the cold and you like to read, don't do it on a device. Try to use a book. Go outside and just sit and read.
Yeah.
If you can really focus on the reading, you'll forget about the cold.
Totally.
I do that a lot, too. I'll sit outside and I'll read.
Yeah, that's good, man.
I used to do it on the front porch, during the day, sit outside and just T-shirt or shorts on and just lean against a chair and do that. May not lean against a chair. Our chairs are metal. Don't do bare metal and skin, remember, guys?
Yeah.
But that's another way. That's what I like to do. But
that's awesome.
It's one of my favorite. I like the winter because I like the cold. In the summer, I can replicate it with ice and ice bath and stuff. But I like cold. Like, you guys can't tell, I got shorts on. I've worn shorts every day.
Yeah, right.
Coming over, I don't have pants on. Everybody at work's like, do you ever wear pants? And I go, last year, I would do this. But this is when I kind of really, in the beginning of last year, kind of started getting into it. So I would go outside a lot more during these cold times at work when I had to be on the phone, and I wouldn't put as many jackets on. Or I'd be in our warehouse, which wasn't heated. I'd walk around and do stuff out there. But then I kind of got into it. And then, the winter ended, and then I got real more into cold showers and ice baths and doing this stuff, and it just didn't bother me. And then I'm like, okay. And now it's like I can be in shorts and a T-shirt and go out. Yeah. And my daughter's always like, well, how come he gets to wear shorts and a T-shirt? Not a good example as a parent. Right. Hey, you put a coat on. Why can't you? Until you're 18, you have to do what we say. But I'm telling you guys, if you can put yourself in these little scenarios of stresses, one, if you don't want to do cold stuff, don't.
Right. But just stress yourself.
Work out.
Yeah. Put yourself in that duress moment.
It
right?
will. If you're like, oh man, I'm going to go run a mile. Go for a mile and a quarter, a mile and a half. put a little bit more onto it. That will physically push you because your mind is now going to shut down at a mile. If you're so used to running or doing something for the exact same time or distance or weight,
Right.
and you put a little more on, you do a little bit more, you're like, your mind wants to. Like today, my body's like, I was beat. I did not want to work out. I did not want to, but it's like, keep going. Okay. Eventually the clock will go.
Yeah.
And I didn't use the big clock on the wall. I set it on my watch. So then when I would flip my watch up, it wouldn't show me. It would just show where my heart rate's at.
Right.
So I had no clue where I was at.
Yeah.
And I purposely did it because I knew if it was on the wall, I'd be like, cool, I'm like halfway. I'm going to sit here for a minute.
You're right. Yeah. That's the worst thing about
I
that.
didn't move fast. I had not set any records for this workout because I was pushing myself to my limit for today, which I knew what it was.
Yeah.
But it still puts me in that position of when my body is like, ugh, my brain's like, come on, just keep moving.
Yeah.
Go down. Take a deep breath. Okay, go. You know,
Totally.
put
man.
yourself in any of these scenarios that are positively conducive to make you stronger. You know, don't reach for vices or things. Don't do stupid physical tasks if you're not physically to that point.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, but you're right. Maybe you shouldn't reach for a cigarette or a drink or a joint or a pill.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe first you should make sure that you've gone through all the steps to do the things that you can do. Now, if you can't do them yet, and I know we can all do it, but if you're hitting a wall of sorts, a mental wall, and you have to go see a doctor, by all means, there's no shame. There's no shame in going and maybe getting a pill you can take to help with anxiety, but don't forget about the work because that's what I've done.
It may not be something you have to take every day, which is fine. It might just be, moments coming, I got to take it, and it's fine. It's not going to be none of the stuff that you guys are going to do, remember, is not going to happen overnight. This is going to be a timely process. Like I said, I've been doing this cold training for over a year now, and I'm in it pretty well where I'm like, you know, Jeremy could be like, hey, Ice, go sit in it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll hop on in.
Speaking of which, we still owe that. I think Jeff and I are going to do an episode from ice baths. So you've been warned.
You're going to sit there, and we'll do it. It won't be a long one because we'll have to be smart. We could be in there for an hour, be fine, but you got to get used to that to be that long.
Yeah.
But,
we got to get some new booms for the mics.
So, but you know, those types of things, like, it's fun. It's fun to do those things, to test yourself. And if you guys need help with things, I'd first and foremost find an app for meditation, pull something off YouTube, listen to it and follow it, and just really focus on your breathing. And you'll be, when you're stressed, and if you're able to, just pull yourself away from whatever you're doing and do that. And I do that at work. I'll close my office door, and I'm like, I need 10 minutes. I'm going to do a little focus. Do that, guys. I promise you it'll truly help you.
Wow. Folks, we have been schooled today. Jeff, thank you for your input today, man. It's been invaluable.
I love talking about this stuff. It's fun. It's helped me. It's still helping me. It will continue to help me, but I like it because, you know, I've done a lot of physical things in my life, you know, but you can always do more. But this is doing something that's not physical, that's mind testing. And I'm finding those more thrilling of how can I test my mind versus testing my body.
Well, it's more challenging, I think.
It is.
I really think mental hurdles are immensely harder to overcome than physical hurdles.
I agree. I would say you told me I got to sit an hour in ice. I'm like, cool. Most people go, you going to sit an hour in completely this giant trough of ice, or do you want to go run like a half marathon or marathon? I guarantee you more people are like, screw it, I'm going to go run.
Yeah.
I don't sit in ice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take the ice.
I'll take the ice because guess what? I'm there 1 hour, and average person, you're probably going to take 3 hours just to run the half.
Yeah.
And then probably 7, 8 just do the full if you're not conditioned for it.
Right. Yeah.
Hell no.
Yes, you're speaking to the wrong guy here, man.
I won't be in any pain. I'll just be cold.
Right. For real. All right, man. Well, I guess having said all of those wonderful things, Jeff, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. You got anything else for our guys today?
No. If you guys need us, reach out.
Yeah, you know how to get a hold of us. If you don't want to just reach out in the comments, you can get a hold of us at jeremy@barrelbrands.us. It's jeremy@barrelbrands.us. And we'll have a mailbox here soon, now that I'm thinking about it, for Jeff and I, and something that you guys can reach out to.
Hit us up on socials and stuff.
Yeah. Cool.
All that kind of stuff. We're here.
Outstanding. Well, I know I feel a little better having discussed some of this, Jeff. Thank you.
Always, man.
And I'm looking forward to talking with you next week and let you know how it goes.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, guys. We love you guys. And until next week, peace.
Thanks, guys.
All right. See you.
Not down to lose, not to lose, not to win right. Not down to lose, not to lose.